strategy and innovation track continue. Again with Agile. We start this morning with Hendrik, who mentioned that the Agile is very important in all kinds of organization, not only in IT. And the next session is related to the Agile into the healthcare. For me, it's pleasure to say hello to Diana Dimitrova from Roche, Bulgaria. She is a pioneer of Agile in pharma. Our next speaker in that presentation is Hisham Sabri. He is also from Roche, Bulgaria, pharmacist by education, Agile transformer by passion. And the third participant in this presentation is Nikola Bogdanov from Agile Pool. He is Agile and Lean coach and a true Agile enthusiast. Nice to welcome you on the stage. Nikola.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. I really want to say first thank you and all the organizers, your colleagues. I think you are doing a great job, and I really know how tough and how big thing is to organize an event like that. So thank you once again.
And thank you on behalf of all of volunteers which are part of that organization. Yes, you're right. So I'll say thank behalf of them.
Yeah, thanks. It's really, we really appreciate. I really know that it's months of preparation and hard work. So let's talk a little bit about business agility and the fight against breast cancer. And what we mean by that is a really true success story. And I think it's a very important one. Because as Elena mentioned before, and as the topic, I'm really happy that we're contributing to the same topic from the morning, that Agile is suitable for all kinds of areas. And actually in my experience, in our experience as Agile coaches, we face lots of biases but we are not IT company. How come we're going to get Agile? Actually, we get this kind of resistance even from IT companies that think Agile is not for them. Actually, what does it mean Agile is not for us or not for you? Does it mean that to be adaptive and fast is not for you? If that's the case, I'm sorry if I hear that. But anyway, today we're going to share with you a really, really interesting, and I'm saying again, really, really interesting story of a true, let's say, medicine-related, doctor-related, patients-related story about how we can heal cancer and how agility actually helps and boosts all kinds of activities in the organization of Roche. So, how the story started for me, I can say from history of 2 or 3 years when we were holding a workshop in Agile Pool. I saw a lady there, Diana. You can see here her on the picture, proudly standing with her certificate. So we were having a certification workshop for Scrum and Agile and Scrum Mastering, and I was surprised to see a lady which presented herself as coming from Roche company, doing healthcare and working with patients and surgeons and so on. And I was a bit worried how if the topic and the material, the area will be suitable for her. But actually, with the time, I really saw how all these things that we were talking really resonated with her brain. You can see it in her eyes, how the spark was visible there. And it was really nice that she actually invited us further to see how open-minded her colleagues at Roche were, and we presented there very interesting things. We worked with them, and I don't want to waste your time anymore because I'm also very excited to hear the story, and I'm giving the floor to Diana now.
Well, just a very quick introduction, and thank you, Nicola, and thank you to the organizers. Thanks for the nice invitation, and it's really so exciting for me to be among you today, especially with this grand opening of the session. It was really amazing. So just a few photos to present myself. My journey at Roche started in 2009, and I've been working in different therapeutic areas, in different teams at Roche, Bulgaria, and before that in other departments of the organization. And in a nutshell, my job was to dream, to dream together with a team of people, to dream for a better future of different types of patients, to inspire those teams, and to be successful together. So this is it in a nutshell. And now I will pass the ball to Hisham. But just I will say one sentence before he starts, because I know that he's very modest and he will not say that actually he's one of the most prominent leaders, contemporary leaders at Roche, with a large experience in the Middle East and in the Levant countries and now in Europe. And if you ask his former colleagues, and I did, about him, they will say about him that he's a person with a big smile and a big heart. Over to you, Hisham.
Thank you so much, Diana. You are very kind. I would like also to thank Nicolas and to echo him and thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity to share with you our story. So as Diana mentioned, my name is Hisham. And on the left side of the slide, you can see this is how my name would look like in the old Egyptian language. So I am coming from Egypt. And my name meant a generous man. So Hisham is the generous man. And actually life was very generous to me. So I got some luck from my name as well. Over the past 18 years, I have the opportunity to work across different healthcare systems in the Middle East, outside the Middle East. And most recently, I came to Bulgaria in April as a general manager for Roche Bulgaria. As Elena mentioned, I'm a pharmacist by education. I hold the MBA, in management from the University of Leicester in the UK. In the middle part of the slide, you can see, I would say, big portion of our Roche Bulgaria team. So as you know, it's very difficult to connect in person during the pandemic, but early July, we were very courageous. And you can see here, like maybe 60% of our team, we had this very nice gathering. And this is one of the biggest blessings in my profession and career, the opportunity to interact with amazing talents, different cultures. On the right side of the slide, you see this bridge. And actually, my life was some prominent or consecutive bridges. And I would say that agile can seem sometimes foggy, like this bridge, can be scary sometimes. But I am a big believer in the promise of agile and the agile transformation, what it can bring to our customers, what it can bring to our teams. And the most important in our case, Diana and myself, what it can bring to our patients as well. Nicolas, if we can move to the next slide, maybe I can share with you quickly about our company, about Roche. And I believe Diana and myself would have brought you chocolate today, because actually 2021, we celebrate the birthday of Roche. And it's the 125th birthday for Roche. Roche is a Swiss company with a headquarter in Basel in Switzerland. And actually, it's one of the unique pharma companies that own both pharmaceutical interest and pharmaceutical support and diagnostics interest at the same time. As I mentioned, it has been established like 1896. And I believe the most important that you would love to know about our company, that we are the #1 investor in research and development in the healthcare industry. For example, in 2020, we have invested 12.2 billions in research and development. And that means more innovation for our patients, more innovation for our healthcare systems. We also always aspire to be a reliable partner during difficult situations. One example is the COVID pandemic, where our company provided a wide range of diagnostic tests, helping to really test the virus itself. And on the other side, worked hard on providing medicines as well. And we are very proud that one of our medicines reached Bulgaria last month for more than 3,000 COVID patients. Finally, sustainability. And this is really most important. So for more than 10 years, Roche was always identified and recognized by Dow Jones Sustainability Index as one of the most sustainable companies across different industry. We are very proud that we helped more than 28 million patients last year. and provided more than 23.4 billion tests over 2020. Now back to you again, Nicolas.
Yeah, it sounds really nice and how can I say, revolutionary what you just said for us. And I want to discuss with you a topic that I usually discuss with every company that I talk to. In many cases, we talk about, are we agile, are we not agile? Actually, agile is not a state. It's not like now we are not agile and we make a step and we become agile. Actually, what we teach our companies is that agile is a journey, and you're always somewhere through the journey. And I think your journey so far is really, let's say, interesting and surprising and fascinating. So tell us a bit more about your journey so far.
Thank you, Nicolas. I think I would start to reflect on some of the external drivers. And one big, motive for our agile journey in Roche was the big change that is happening there all the time. If you think, for example, about the innovation in healthcare and the amount of innovation we have seen over the past years, and even the base of innovation. And unfortunately, some of our healthcare system were not ready to adopt innovation. If you think about what happened again with the COVID pandemic, that we had shock to many healthcare systems across the globe. So there is a lot of innovation out there, and there is a lot of need to support our healthcare systems. We have seen also over the past years more openness to change and more openness to partnership between governmental institutions, between private partners, and this is the only way to go forward. Moreover, in our healthcare industry, our patients now, I would claim, they are more lucky, they are more empowered, and they have better access to information. And that allowed our patients to get more involved in the decision making. This external context was a big motive to leaders in Roche to really think about agile transformation and how we can change our country. If you allow me also, Nicolas, to reflect on the internal perspective, and here I would like to share our ambition and our North Star. And our North Star is better outcomes for more patients faster. If we reflect here locally in Bulgaria, we find that our patients in Bulgaria receive access to new medicines after more than 600 days after the EMA approval, while in some European neighboring countries, they can receive access after 3 months, for example. So this is one area where we believe we can really help the healthcare system and the patients. If you think about the cost challenge in healthcare, and our patients in Bulgaria have to pay in some therapeutic area up to 40% and 50% out of pocket when they got treatment. And this is one of the most high percentages or ratios across Europe. How we as Roche can really live up to our North Star and help them. Our ambition is to provide 3 to 5 more healthcare innovation to the Bulgarian society and to more and more healthcare systems across the globe at half the cost to society. We also, because we mentioned the 125 years, and maybe also our portfolio, Nicolas and our colleagues are really, I would say, complex. So we have interest in oncology, in neuroscience, in hemophilia, in some rare diseases, in some infectious diseases. So also how to manage a rapidly evolving product portfolio. And agility here can really help in prioritization and executing in short cycles. And a lot of efforts in different parts of the organization happened over time to transform our Roche world. And the Agile in the past 2 years was really good to kick off our recent transformation. Finally, I would like to reflect on the journey itself. So when we think about Agile transformation, we think about 2 parts. From my perspective, what I call it the hard part. So the system, the process, how you can, adopt technology, for example. And this is definitely, you can really have support and partners if you have the right resources to adopt. The other part, I would call the soft part. Here we are talking about the mindset, the culture, the leadership. And I would claim that this is the most challenging part, and the part that really needs the energy and the efforts from all of us. So in Roche, we started by engaging our leadership, and we had a lot of discussion about our creative leadership. When are we more focusing on the vision, on relating, on supporting our teams, on our community concern, and supporting, thinking about sustainability, for example, about being more authentic leaders. So we ensured that the leaders really start to develop this awareness, and they have the buy-in for the agile transformation journey. And then we identified our North Star, where we want to reach with this journey, what our ambition could be. Some of our teams started to kick off a kind of business process simplification, because as you know, when you start an agile journey, you need to make sure that structure and process are really matching into agile. We have sent also a lot of team members and leaders into other countries and other organizations where they can see the impact of agile on different teams, employees, on different customers. And that was across different industries, maybe the banking industry, the IT industry. And it was very impressive having the people coming back really inspired and buying in the concept. Then we had more training on the agile tools. So how to do agile. And we invested also in teach our teams and getting them engaged on practicing that. I believe Diana will talk more about that. And also one important milestone was the concept of the feedback. So we had massive, training for everyone in the organization about the feedback. The importance of having the feedback timely, as simple as we can. I love or appreciate in what you are doing X, and I invite you to consider why. And that was really important to work on this, culture. Most recently, and in 2021, we have invested in outcome-based planning. So instead of focus on the current events or output, we always ask our team about the outcome, the why, what you are looking for from this event, from this output, from this work package, and also introduce the impact retrospective, where teams are really reflecting on the past 90 days, what went well, and what needs further attention. So this is a kind of summary or reflection, but I believe in your discussion with Diana also, she can bring more in-depth perspective, Nicola.
Yeah. First, before I give the floor to Dan, I would say that I hope that I'm very happy that lots of people from different organizations are watching this presentation now, because you can see this is really true example of real example of how you run a transformation. You have your North Star, as Hisham said, then you have step-by-step journey. Of course, also the concrete examples of different steps that Hisham said are maybe some of these that you can consider. Of course, your organization will have your own journey, but this is how we do it, a North Star and step-by-step approach. And when we say agility, we usually talk about two-half game. The first half is to understand how to do the things in the right way. So I'll give the floor now to Diana to give us some examples and explanation and concrete cases about how agile at Roche.
Thank you, Nicola. Well, I will start again from this first meeting of ours where I was attending the seminar of Agile Pool. And then there were a few other occasions when we met.
You muted yourself.
Sorry for that. Yeah, so where we... Okay, sorry for that. Actually, I decided after this first seminar, which I attended together with other participants from different industries, I decided why not inviting Agile Pool, Nicola and Bogi, in our office and have my team, which was the breast cancer team, know more about Agile. And why not starting a very small project and see how we will do it using the Agile tools that we that we got from Nicola, and also trying to think in a different way. So afterwards, my agile journey continued, and then we invited Nicola already for the whole organization of Roche Bulgaria. And this meeting was also very interesting for many colleagues. It exceeded its time because there were so many questions to Nicola. So it was really obvious that people are curious, which was our very big satisfaction at that stage. And how we implemented some of the practices. I will start maybe from the daily stand-up, because I know that in the 14th State of Agile report, it's mentioned as the most frequently practiced one. Obviously, many companies find the benefits in it, and also did we. Actually, my team loved it. It was in the beginning, it was strange. How are we going to meet every day? And are we going to actually stand up? But we loved it, and it became a habit. So we didn't miss a day without the daily stand-up. And we were revising, in most of the cases, our Kanban. And you can see from this first picture that it was really very strange, but the Kanban, it was evolving in the process of working. And then we became, we transferred everything in virtual, so we used Trello. I can say that daily stand-ups give us a lot of focus, and also we are much faster in this way, because we don't miss anything, that we don't forget about anything, and we are completely aligned between ourselves. And the fact that we share what we did yesterday and what we are going to do today gives us the opportunity to support each other, and even to inspire each other, and to go together in one and the same direction. The second practice I would like to mention is the retrospectives, and we are using different types of retrospectives. This was one of the most complex ones, having in mind also and the external factors that impact our activity, and how are we going to improve the way we are working as a team. Another one is looking into which activities we would like to continue, which are beneficial for us, which we have to stop or do less of. And also this cup here, it shows that we are recognizing some of our colleagues for specific contribution or specific thing that they did well. And the next picture is a very simple way of making retrospectives. So here it's on a Jamboard, but even today I did something like this in the end of one meeting that I had with the team, and it was a different type of meeting, and I was experimenting a little bit with this. And the last slide of my presentation was just one empty slide divided in two. One, things that you think that went well today, and the other part of the slide, please fill in some things that you think we should avoid or we should improve for the next time. And the retrospectives, we love them because they're a big learning opportunity for us, and they help us to see which processes and how we could be improved, and how we can become better and better, and every day be better than our yesterday's selves. And the next slide is about sharing. Sharing is caring, as they say. And here, for instance, on this picture, you can see our team, but also there are team members from different teams. We invited different people from other teams to join us for a while, to see how we work and to see what they can take from us and implement in their activities. And then we also we presented for the whole organization how we are doing these practices, what do they give us, what are their benefits for us. And also, sometimes we were trying to give specific answer to some questions. For instance, in this case, it was a presentation that we made using this analog poster, handmade by us. And the topic was, how do we manage time, and how Agile helps us to better manage time. So we think that this was very good for our whole organization because, first of all, we were helping the colleagues to perform better and faster and to take advantage of these benefits. And second, I think that we had a good contribution to the smooth and successful organization's agile transformation.
I would say that that's really, really amazing how you started with very basic practices and to start afterwards experimenting how to use retros not only at the end of the 2-week sprint, but actually to retrospect on a meeting itself and how you use visuals for knowledge sharing and so on. It's really, really amazing. I can say really congratulations and applause from my side. Also, I would say that many companies actually end up here with the practices, with the doing the things the right way. But what I really want to say is that Roche didn't stop there. They actually work a lot on the second half of the game, which is called doing the right things. How? Because it's not enough to be fast and efficient if something is not really if the result is not really used at the end. So my question now to you, Diana, is can you give us a bit more insights on how you actually implement this thing?
Well, doing the right things here is the place where I can speak about the dreams. So this is our new approach to planning. It's called the OBP, or outcome-based planning. Hisham mentioned it. And its concept starts with the fact that we are not already planning activities, we are not planning sales pack, salt, and so on, but we are starting with the dream. What we would like to see in the future. What is the ideal future that we would like to see for our patients? After 10 years, if we wake up and we are after 10 years from now, how we would like to see, for instance, breast cancer. What we would like to see. Our dream, for instance, can be that we would like to see people who live longer and who live better lives in a high quality of life. So this is a dream which all of us are passionate about. And then we go back from this dream to the long-term outcomes. Which are these outcomes which we would like to see over the next 3 to 5 years, which will get us closer to the dream? For instance, what we can say here, for instance, one of the things that we would like to achieve or to get changed is to get all the breast cancer patients having access to the most contemporary solutions for diagnosis and treatment recommended by the guidelines. Then we backcast, so we call it backcasting. We go back and see what we'd like to achieve the midterm outcomes, and finally, which are those things, the short-term outcomes, which we will aim as an impact over the next 90 days, which will get us closer to the midterm outcomes and so on. So this is our changed concept, and it's a process to learn to implement it properly. However, I think that in the process we are much better ourselves, and it really helps us with the mindset shift, because we are really concentrated now on the impact that we are making on the patient, and we are really aiming and we are really passionate about getting to this dream.
Yeah, actually refocusing from output to outcome is a big agile topic, so congrats once again. But you cannot convince me that it was everything easy and things went very smoothly all the time. So I like to go back to Isham and ask him, from your perspective, Isham, what were the main challenges toward your journey?
Definitely, Nicola, the journey had some challenges, and sometimes this is also good for us as leaders to stimulate us and to challenge us so we can really stretch ourselves more. I think the first challenge I would reflect on is the external focus. So the most important, because with agile transformation, you put a lot of energy in making the people to learn about agile, doing agile, being agile, and that takes time, takes energy, takes resources. And one challenge we had is how this was really taking from the external focus. And if I tell you about us here in Bulgaria, last year we treated more than 200,000 patients. We had more than 12 million diagnostic tests. More than 8,000 patients are in our, access program. More than 42 clinical trials in Bulgaria. So everything outside is really sensitive, either for our patients or for our customers, doctors and nurses and collaborators. So we wanted to make sure that with this journey, we still have the external perspective at the beginning or at the most important. So that was, the first challenge, keeping the external focus. The second one, and very important, is the mindset, because agile takes a lot of change, and especially if you were successful in the past. So how can I convince you to change your behavior, to change even your rituals? As Diana was saying, moving from very long, meetings, 6 hours meeting, 4 hours meeting, to stand-up meeting in 30 minutes and getting things done, letting go. Feedback, we talked about feedback, and Diana talked about feedback. So it really take a lot of courage, a lot of leadership, a lot of self-awareness to make this shift towards agile. But definitely mindset is a very interesting part of the journey, and it's not destination. Maybe as you were talking about agile, whatever you work on and they try to improve, you find that still you need to do more. The same for feedback. So in a nutshell, those were like 3 big buckets: external focus and keeping the focus on the patients, and the mindset, change the mindset and make sure that the feedback is really continuous. I come to you, I tap on your shoulder, I tell you, well done. And also timely, I come to you, I tell you, Nicola, this one need to be done differently. I think those were the main 3 challenges.
Okay, thanks. Really interesting. And now I want to move a little bit the focus from the internal story to the external one, with some really amazing and interesting example of how Agile can make a real impact, not only internally in terms of efficiency and so on, but actually on making impact to the end customers, in this case, to the society, I can say. So Diana, can you tell us this amazing story?
Yes, of course. And thank you very much for inviting me. Actually, there were different stories which we intended to share, but Nicola preferred this one. I hope that I will be able to transfer this, to transfer the meaning and the whole emotion which is behind it. Although that it's completely medical, it's I'm trying to avoid the medical terms and trying to find it really to make it really more human than we think of it. So it's about breast cancer. Yes, we can go to the next slide where I try to very like with this picture to illustrate how sometimes the breast cancer treatment or landscape or management landscape is in Bulgaria. And it's like this very dark picture where you almost don't see much, but it's just the moment before the sunrise. So the next step is very positive one, but in the moment there are many challenges. Here I'm mentioning some of them. They're going to the fact that there is no screening, no early detection, diagnosis, treatment are delayed, especially now in the COVID era and so on. But I just want to explain something about the treatment and diagnostic journey. So if you show it, Nicola, thank you. So it usually starts with the biopsy and diagnosis. So this is according to the international guidelines. First, when there is some kind of a suspicion for breast cancer, the patient has to be diagnosed properly, and they have to be sent for a biopsy, which means taking some material from the tumor and investigating what is the tumor type. Afterwards, The multidisciplinary team, so not one doctor, not the oncologist, not the surgeon, but a whole team of professionals, multidisciplinary team, has to decide whether this patient should be sent for neoadjuvant treatment, which is with medicines, and it makes the tumor shrink. It makes the tumor become smaller in size, and then the surgical operation can be smaller in size as well. And neoadjuvant treatment has other benefits for the patients, and it determines the success of the treatment after surgery. So it's an important step. Only then comes the surgery. And this is the international algorithm. Well, in Bulgaria, in many cases, the whole journey starts from here, from the surgery, which is not really right, and it deprives the patient from some important points in her journey. And so what was our project? Our project was that together with patients associations, together with doctors associations, here in this case, we asked the surgeon to come to our office and to, together with the patient, to ask them, why is it that the surgery is the first step? And what could be done so that the algorithm follows the international guidelines? What are the reasons behind this situation in Bulgaria, and what could be improved? And in this way, applying these co-creation sessions and design thinking principles, and going deep diving into these pain points, we identified several challenges, and we prioritized them, and we realized that actually what is needed to be done first is to obtain reimbursement for core biopsy. So the National Health Insurance Fund to accept this as a needed procedure and to get it included in its ambulatory procedures. And this was achieved by our partners, the Doctors Association and the Patients Association, that participated in this project. It was very good collaboration of Roche, really as a partner to the healthcare system. And what was achieved, actually, this reimbursement of core biopsy, is really an exponential change in the Bulgarian healthcare. And some people even think that over the last several decades, this is the biggest change in the breast cancer treatment landscape. In any case, it has a potential impact on the lives of thousands of patients in the years to come. So this is the story. We sat down together with our partners. We thought together, we dreamed even together, and we found a solution for a problem that was existing over the last several decades. And we didn't stop here, of course, because we iterated again and we analyzed that there are other needs in the whole ecosystem, in the society, needs for more information, for another concept of breast cancer, of cancers as a whole. The society has to understand that cancer, and especially breast cancer, which is the most often cancer type in women, and one of the most frequent reasons for death. But the society has to understand that when breast cancer is diagnosed early and when it's treated in the right way, it's not a deadly disease as it used to be, but it's a completely manageable and bearable chronic condition. And this is what all of these people that you see here on the slide, Nana Gladuish, our partners from here is one Bulgarian participant of the European Commission initiative on breast cancer, different doctors, different patients with their stories. They're sending out this message to the society in this campaign in the social media, which we are now performing together with our partners. Yeah.
Really interesting, and really shows how focusing on the outcome, how we should not just do things fast. We need to really work with patients to be customer centric, and all this stuff that we have as a, I don't know, as some kind of cliche words in Agile can really be shown in practice in this case. I want to thank you and to see actually what's next, because as we said, agility is a journey, it never ends. We can improve and go further and move on. So I'm pretty sure you're not stopping here. And I'd like to ask Isham, what's next in your agile journey?
Thank you, Nicolas. So actually, what is next is to continue the journey. And the journey can be very personal to all of us. So Diana shared one example about the breast cancer. Me personally, I lost my aunt last year in August to the breast cancer. When I reflect on her story, she received late diagnosis. She didn't have the proper access to diagnosis. She had to pay for the cost of her treatment, her diagnosis, everything. And also that was not a good monitoring system. So her name was Dina. I'm sure that there is a lot of Dinas in Bulgaria and in other places. And we believe that Agile as a concept can help us really to deliver the promise and deliver the ambition through this journey. As I mentioned, our ambition is to provide 3 to 5 more healthcare innovation. So patients like Dina in Bulgaria and other places can really receive good support from early detection to different diseases, to even prevention to disease if we can, the right time diagnosis, the right therapy, and how we follow up on the quality of this therapy. I believe with Agile and with really inspired team who really believe in the impact of what they do, we can reach this ambition together. Thank you so much, Nicola, for the discussion. I really enjoyed the discussion, and thanks for being our host today.
It's okay, it's okay. And actually, we have one more question because in Agile we want to be to say, okay, you're moving forward, but actually, how do we understand that we are making a positive step, that we are on the right way? Do we have in Roche any data-driven approaches and so on?
We said actually, Nicola, let's focus on 3 things. Those 3 things, will tell us that our agile journey is successful. Let me start from the right side, maybe. And the first indicator for us is the sustainability of the healthcare system in Bulgaria. Can we have contribution as a leader in the healthcare to see more sustainability, more digital healthcare, for example, in Bulgaria? And we have a very defined roadmap and plan where we work in the digital health cluster and the other places to make sure that we contribute to the sustainability of the healthcare system in Bulgaria. Another important measure and signal is the patient experience. We mentioned breast cancer, but what about multiple sclerosis patients? What about hemophilia patients? What about their journey from the moment they know about their diagnosis to the moment they get diagnosed to starting their treatment? Can we make their experience better? And we measure that on 3 months basis, on 6 months basis, on 1 year. And finally, our reputation. As we started, the company celebrated the 125 years anniversary this year. Our reputation is very important. So we measure that also on annual basis. So from our perspective, those are the 3, let's say, signals or lead measures that we said with that we know that we are on the right direction to our North Star and to our ambition.
Yeah, so thanks a lot. I think we're at the end of our story so far. I'll just try to summarize so everyone who is listening can build the whole picture. As you can see, Roche is really an amazing company with amazing agile journey. And the summary is the following. We start with the idea that agility is what we want to do. It's our ability to improve and to be adaptive. We start with the journey and our place on the journey, on the roadmap, and the North Star. Afterwards, iteratively, we make steps, we move forward, we focus on doing the right things, doing the things right in terms of practices, dailies, retrospective, and so on. But we don't forget that there is also a second half, which is the outcome, not the output, and the focus on the value and on the customer centricity. And all this, of course, needs to be done in data-driven approach. So you really understand if you're moving forward, if you need adjustment in your journey and so on. So I hope that of you. And I want to, let's say, save some time now for questions. I'm pretty sure there will be lots of such.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Really interesting. The good teamwork is visible by the results that you achieved, Raya Karosh, Bulgaria. I have one question to Diana. Diana, it's visible that you lead the transformation in the company and you lead the team. From your point of view, as a team leader, which was the most difficult thing for you to convince the people that they have to change their mindset, their culture, and etc. Because these are people focused on healthcare. And you go there and say, okay, we have to be agile. How you achieve that? It's visible that you achieve it, but how?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you very much for it. It's not really very easy always. With my team, it was at that time, maybe because all of us, we were very curious. It was the time when everyone at Roche was starting to speak about Agile. So we were very curious, what is it exactly? And then we thought that maybe it will help us to be faster and to be more efficient and effective. But sometimes it's not really very easy because really in the beginning, the idea was that this is something that is for the IT guys and it's not applicable anywhere outside of this industry or this field. However, in the process, with every new practice that we started to implement, we were more and more convinced in the benefits of Agile, and we were able to spread this enthusiasm into the whole organization. And I think that what was also good and the strong point in this process was the fact that while we were doing these rituals, in the same time, this mindset shift a little bit started to happen. And we became more open to change. We became more trusting. We abandoned this old concept of control and command. We already didn't need to have a boss, let's say. We were working in a self-managed teams, and we continue to do so. More and more, we started to discover that we don't have to shut up our door, for instance, but quite the opposite. We have to share, and the more we share, the more we have access to the abundance of solutions and ideas of the whole organization. So instead of this so-called silo mentality, we started to explore the networked way of working and reaching out for other colleagues' ideas and practices. So both things went on together, and everyone started to be convinced that this is something that works for us and it helps us.
Yeah,
I want to just to add one quick sentence here. Actually, what Diana mentioned is really true. But from, let's say, more broad perspective, I could say that it's all about leadership, the leaders and the culture that these leaders built. I will tell you just quickly the story. When Diana invited us to present Agile to her team, she announced in the beginning why we're here, why we're having this event to the colleagues. And I'll try to repeat it by memory. She said something like, do you remember when last year we sacrificed 5 days of our vacations because we had to work fast or hard on something, and we achieved pretty much faster time to market, in this case, time to healing people, and how amazing we felt. She said, what these guys are going to tell us maybe will help us feel that feeling again, and even without sacrificing vacation time.
thank you. Thank you for answering this question. By the way, you answered to my next question, which I'll miss in this situation. What is the leader of Agile coach in one team? Thank you very much for contribution to our conference today, to all of you. It was really interesting, and stay tuned with PMI chapter for next initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.